Hey everybody, I want to talk to you a little bit about human behavior and human development when it relates to the concept of rings. If you review the literature on human behavior and human development, we learn that sometimes we can look at the human development by looking at rings or talking about rings. And there are typically four rings that most people or most researchers and scholars have been studying over the human development, that they are corresponding for our development. Well, what are they? Those four rings or four dimensions that we talk about, they have to do our cognitive, physical, emotional, and spiritual, right? So those four rings have been studied, and many people have done a lot of research and developed theories around this. But in certain ways, I don't think those four rings enough. I think there are in fact 11 rings, and my upcoming book called The Book of 11 Rings, I'll get into them and I'll talk about it with my colleagues who are collaborating toward the book. If you currently go do a search of the 11 rings, guess what you're gonna find out? You are gonna learn about Michael Phelps' 11 Olympic gold medals that he has received. And those 11 rings that represents his accomplishment is based on what he has been able to do not only in the swimming pool, but the way he lives his life. So in certain way, I don't have 11 gold medal rings to represent me, but I have 11 rings of my psyche and human development that I can talk about. So when I look at the mirror, I think about my 11 rings, not in terms of my gold rings, but in terms of my capacity that I can work on and I can develop over time, always raising the bar of my 11 rings. So what are the 11 rings? The 11 rings are, from my perspective, mental, emotional, relational, family, resilience, financial, spiritual, social, occupational, and physical, and of course the most important, equally important, is leadership. So if you think about our human development and human growth, it is more than just physical, cognitive, emotional, and spiritual. There is a lot more to it. But if we expand those four to the 11 rings, then we recognize that interconnectivity and interoperability between those 11 rings lead us to be a peak performer that we wish to become. And then also, when those rings are strong and they are interconnected solidly, they become each other's keystone, holding the chains of our rings together for continuous peak performance, wellness, and well-being over time. So next time you look in the mirror, smile and tell yourself, hey, I have 11 rings that actually, if I work on them, be inspired to work on them, be inspired to develop them, be inspired to learn about them, and raise the bar for myself over time, I can transcend to become strong in all those 11 rings. Therefore, you will view yourself as an Olympian, or what I call you, Magnus, because you are.